I want to welcome in our political panel tonight. We're lucky to have Representative Kevin Kiley, Republican from California, and Representative Adam Smith, Democrat from Washington. Congressman, really appreciate both of you being here. Representative Smith, why don't we start with you? Let's start with Ukraine, because we see Zelensky saying that in his talk with Secretary Rubio that it went well. But Zelensky also saying during the conference that the U.S. is too often asking Ukraine to make concessions in these peace talks, not Russia. Do you feel that it's been unequal? And what needs to happen now to end the war?
I agree. I mean, there's been too much of an emphasis on putting pressure on Ukraine from the Trump administration. Now, don't get me wrong. I mean, Ukraine is going to have to negotiate to get to an end to this war, but there's just been too much of the focus on what Ukraine has to do and not enough of the focus on what Russia has to do. Remember, Russia did start this war, and they could end it tomorrow if they wanted to. So I think we need more pressure on Russia. We have seen the Trump administration has upped some of the weapons and some of the freedom to use those weapons for Ukraine. I think more economic sanctions, but more than anything, just President Trump, Secretary Rubio, and others saying Russia started this war. They could end the war tomorrow. There doesn't need to be a negotiation. They have taken sovereign territory of Ukraine illegally, unlawfully, and they could end it. So I think the pressure needs to be on Russia, not on Ukraine.
So Representative Kiley, speaking of talks, we were just hearing Hannah Brandt talking about this. President Trump now saying regime change in Iran may be, quote, the best thing that could happen. Are you sensing that these talks with Iran are going well? And is regime change the answer to both the nuclear talks underway and the deadly crackdown on protesters in that country?
Well, of course it is, I believe, the position of most everyone in our country that Iran would be in a lot better shape if they had a government that respected the human rights of their citizens and responded to the democratic aspirations of their citizens and did not, murder their own citizens in response to peaceful protest. And so, it's hard to say exactly how the talks are going right now, but one thing is certain is that after the very successful strikes last year, limiting Iran's nuclear capacity, we absolutely cannot allow them to rebuild it and once again become the world's leading exporter of terror, with potentially one day having a nuclear arsenal behind that. So we'll see where things go from here, but our foremost objective needs to be national security, stopping Iran from regaining its nuclear capability. And of course, we all want a better future for the people of Earth.
So Representative Smith, let's talk about the partial government shutdown that is underway tonight right now. No deal on Homeland Security funding, but Democrats have certainly made their demands known. There doesn't seem to be much budging on the GOP side. How long are Democrats, how long will they be taking this fight? And what message are they sending to the country about DHS and about ICE?
Well, we'll see what happens next week and the week beyond. I mean, it does get problematic if you get to the point where people stop receiving paychecks. Personally, we could fund the other aspects of the government that are not ICE, that are within the DHS funding package. But look, I mean, the principle here, I think we've seen. ICE is overplaying its hand and violating the rights of people all across this country. We were told that they were going to go out, they were going to target the worst of the worst, dangerous criminals. Instead, we see them going into schools and daycares and taking people out of their places of employment, people who have committed no crime. We see citizens, in some cases, being detained for weeks at a time without due process and without probable cause. We simply want the basic constitution of this country and the rights of the American people to be respected during the course of immigration enforcement. And we feel that new legislation is required given the way the Trump administration has done things with ICE. So, yeah, I mean, we put out 10 points. Don't necessarily have to have all 10, but we do want to hear some kind of offer, because I think there's bipartisan support for the idea that ICE needs to be reined in and stopped from violating the rights of people all across this country.
So Representative Kiley, with the time we have, I have to ask you, you were at that chaotic hearing this week with Attorney General Pam Bondi. The clashes often ending with mudslinging and personal insults. Let's take a quick listen to just some of it.
Within 40 minutes, Wexner's name was added back.
Within 40 minutes of me catching you red-handed.
Red-handed? There was one redaction out of over
listed as a co-conspirator.
Okay. And we invited you in. This guy has Trump derangement syndrome. You sit here and you attack the president, and I am not going to have it. I'm not going to put up with it.
I believe you just lied under oath. There is ample evidence in the Epstein file.
Don't you ever accuse me of a crime.
I believe you just lied under oath.
Answer.
You can let her filibuster all day long, but not on our watch. Not on our time. No way. And I told you about that, Attorney General, before you started.
You don't tell me.
Yeah, oh, I did tell you because we saw what you did in the Senate.
You're a lawyer, not even a lawyer.
What was your reaction in the moment to this hearing?
Well, things in the Judiciary Committee are never boring. I've been through a number of hearings now with high-level cabinet officials during both the Trump and Biden administration, and it's honestly not that unusual for things to
not that unusual. Even this seemed a little above what we normally see. Wouldn't you agree?
You too, but there is a sense that it'd be nice if we could have a little more decorum in these hearings and kind of focused on even where we have differences and trying to sort of flesh out those differences as opposed to going back and forth like so often is the case in any number of these hearings. I will say that I had an exchange with the Attorney General in which she addressed the issues I raised, regarding these detainers that are not being honored, regarding fraud in California, and regarding this issue of parents being, investigated school report meetings. So I had a good exchange with her. Not all of them were like the one we.
Okay. I wish we weren't out of time because I'm itching to hear Congressman Smith's reaction here. But unfortunately, we have to say goodbye for now. Congressman Both, I appreciate your time tonight. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so a live look at Tucson, Arizona, where the search for Nancy Guthrie is about to enter its 14th